Hey friends, it's almost 8 p.m. at my clock. So I will just start the stream. Now it's 8 p.m. sharp. So today I want to talk about API management in Azure. And I don't know if you guys know something about it. So in order to be a little bit, to give us a scope, I will start by explaining API management a little bit. Then we will make, I have prepared an API, which can be managed by API management later on. And then I want to go deeper because last weekend I was working on some things around API management for a customer. And I recognized that there are several problems with the tooling of API management, which I want to share with you. Even better, I want to share the solution with you, not the problem alone. And I hope it helps you. So this time it's kind of a targeted live stream, which means the target will be that it's easier for you to use API management and maybe to explain why to use API management. So let us start by drawing some stuff here in Visio. And I want to try to explain. And by the way, I hope the sound quality is better today than it was the last time. I recognize after watching my video that it was kind of poor sound quality because I hadn't my mic on the correct position. So this means I have to buy an arm for, a tremendous amount of money, to get my mic on a better position. But that's another issue. So let us talk about API management as a concept. So what is going on? Let's assume that you have a lot of APIs. So things which deliver data via HTTPS. So that's basically what API means when I talk about it. So let's say you have, cool symbol. Let's say you have HTTPS ABC. .com/API or whatever, and then you have another API running and CDF whatever, and now you start creating API by API. Let us use the points to just tell us that a lot of APIs can be thought of behind this chain. So you should do this by several reasons. First of all, you need to separate workloads. And second of all, you might want to achieve something like microservice architecture or things like that. So in order to do this, you should target, a lot of APIs in your asset, and you have a lot of advantages doing this. Another endpoint could be something you don't even develop. Let's say HTTPS, what am I doing and why is the smiley appearing? I don't know. weatherapi.com. So another API, but this time it is an external API. But you have it in your tool set because you just use it. Maybe in this API. You need weather data, or you just want to give data to your customers. And then all of those, let's assume, are, as I showed here, APIs which are living in Azure as app services. Okay, let's think it's, let's see if this is a scenario. And this thing is just something outside. And then maybe you have another thing running, you have Kubernetes running. So which is a good, let me name it Azure Kubernetes Service, which means here are a lot of little tiny pods running or services running, and each service is in itself an API you provide. So you have a mix of HTTP endpoints which are delivering data. That's basically what you do. So let us call this thing, go to the back, do it a little bit. So let's say that this is your APIs, this thing. Okay, cool. Now, if you have a problem right now. So the users you want to target with your APIs, let me bring this a little bit to the bottom here. And let's say you have someone, either yourself or just a person you want to give access to data by exposing those APIs. And let's say let's say this is a user for some reason. It is a circle? I don't know. So now what you have to do, you have to expose this API to the user. So he needs to have access to this API. Other way around, of course. And now what can happen is that something here changes. For instance, you want to do it on a separate host, or you want to put it out of the app service and put it into your Kubernetes or whatever. And every time you do this, you have to inform all of your users so that they are able to make the transition together with you, because they are working directly on your API. This is one thing. Another thing is that as soon as you have exposed this service, you have to take care about how much load this thing can be. Is it a small user? Or maybe you have a user, which I want to show this thing, which generates heavy load on the API, but you didn't want him to do this just like that. So you have no control after you exposed your URL how someone uses your API. Or you build the control into your API and develop it by yourself. But you don't have to. So instead of exposing the APIs directly, you could use something which is called API Management. This is a symbol, the official symbol in Azure. So what this is, it's like a proxy for your API. So what you can do now in concept is you import your APIs to this API Management, and I show you this, all your APIs. You do this and that, and then maybe this too. And it gets ugly, but anyway, that's exactly the purpose here. And now, and here are a lot of targets running in. So maybe let's do it a little bit clearer. Do this on the top. I don't have sufficient anchor points. So, and now what you have is you have one URL here, https whatever.com. You can have a custom domain here too. You have a user management. You have even a visual portal. I'll show you this, where users can register themselves. You can connect this thing into your Azure AD or Azure AD B2C to handle user registration in an external thing, not here, but it's able to do it. And then you can have the users assigned by something which is called subscriptions to all of them or single APIs or whatever. And the next thing is, if something in the backend changes, you can, just leave it here at the same URL for him, but change the backend implementation. So basically, it's not a bad idea. API management. API management is cool. And before we dig into the problems, which, I stumbled upon this weekend, before we do this, let's have a look at API management so that you learn how to use it. Okay. As I told you, I already prepared one. So what you see here is this API management service. This is exactly what I prepared. It's a demo. And it has one API currently, which is the default. If you create a new API management, you have one API already provisioned for you, which is called the Echo API. It's something you can use just to test making calls against this. We will do this right now. So this Azure portal site is just one side of this API. Another thing is the so-called developer portal. You have a link here on the top. And here you have the configuration for this portal. You see here, you have a blade in the Azure portal where you can manage this portal, kind of. You have several revisions of things you did. And then some important stuff is here. You can enable CORS, which I already did, which is pretty important because the current URL, which is behind this, is this one. So this is the URL of my API management. We will see this later. Okay, cool. You should enable CORS here. You can, if you change something here, you have to publish it to the portal, and you see I have to publish my changes. And you can enable Azure AD integration, which means users from your organization, from the Azure AD tenant this thing lives in, are able to authenticate themselves into this. And now you have a list of users, and you see I only have an administrative user here. You can have groups for users. Think of it like roles and stuff like that. And different identity options, cool stuff. Okay, let us watch the API section. Here you can see this is the one API which was mentioned before, which is already there, and this comes in the moment you create the API management. And this thing now is showing us the methods which this API is exposing. You can create methods just like here. And you have to think about this API, this Echo API. There is no backend API here. This thing just, does the whole request response stuff. It's possible in API management. You don't have something. No, it's not true. Sorry. What it uses is this Echo API of cloudapp.net. So I didn't even try this out before. Let us use Postman and go here and do send, and I get a 200 okay. And it's just something you can send messages to, and create a resource would be a post. What is going on if I send a post? It's okay too. It's just responding on HTTP requests with 200 okay. That's what it does basically. Okay, now what is important is that you can set up everything here inside so that nobody has to use this cloudapp.net URL, but can use your API. So you give it a name and you say, okay, how should it be exposed if someone uses it through my API management? And this would be the new URL. So this is a URL you can use now. Let us try this. We put it in here and send a request, and we get something else. 404 resource not found. So right now it's not doing what it should be doing. And it's because one of the reasons is maybe I didn't publish it. Basically, let me publish this, and then let's have a look at the portal. Let me publish this current version, and then here is a portal, and let me go there with an incognito window. Let us do it incognito so that we... Did it pass my token? It did. Oh man, I just hate it. New incognito window, and let us do this without the token. So it's not published. It is. Let us refresh this page. Let us be patient because it can take a while. I forgot to publish it early on. Man, revision is published. Might take some seconds. And that's the reason why 404 is coming, I think. Let us be patient here a little bit. It's loading, which is a good sign. Okay, now it's changing its internal, so it's preparing everything. It's just the first time, so there it is. So this is the portal. You give this URL or a custom one. You can have a custom URL here too, but you give this URL to people you want to invite. Doesn't matter if they are in the company or outside of the company, does not matter. They get this URL. They don't know anything about all the backend stuff which happens. And what you can do now is you can show them the APIs, and you can customize all the screens, kind of. Not in the full-blown way like in WordPress, I think, but you can customize it, give it another logo, design, it a little bit. Fonts is possible, colors is possible, pictures, do whatever you want. And now here's an Echo API. And this is just for exploring what's possible. Okay, everybody can explore this. But if somebody wants to try this out, he is showing him, you know what, you need a subscription key to do this. Well, that's strange. What is a subscription key? But let us try it without any subscription key and send it. And now we get a 401, unauthorized. Let us try this in Postman now. We get a 404. What is the URL we should use? The URL is this one, a post to Echo resource. Echo resource. Let us, or is it because I'm not using the get? No. Echo resource send 401 access denied / resource. I forgot / resource. Sorry. Okay, we get a 401. Now, what this means is I don't have a subscription key inside of my headers. I need one. So what is this? Let us go to the Azure portal, and now you may have seen the subscriptions here. So subscriptions are basically, possibilities to let people subscribe to something, to a service, and you can have multiple of them. You can add subscriptions, and subscriptions are focused on products, on so-called products. And a product is something which is simply the way you want to expose an API. Let's say they ship with 2 products, Starter and Unlimited. And the Unlimited is just nothing, it's just one product, but the Starter is pretty interesting. If you look at the Starter product and you go to the policies here, you see again this strange visualization, which is just saying you have some front end and you can't configure the front end because this is a user, this is a client, and it shows you where you can put logic into. So you can handle each inbound request. You can process it in a certain way. You can process the backend side, and you can, say something about the outbound. So before the response from your backend comes back to the front end, you can, tweak it. And here they have implemented some tweaks, like a rate limit. If you click this, you see the syntax. The syntax is XML-like. It is XML, basically. So whatever. And there are far more sophisticated things possible here, like you can even have logic inside of this, but this is not the scope of today's talk. And what you can do, what is saying here, that this starter package is limited. It has a rate limit. It says 5 calls per minute are allowed, and 100 calls per month. What is it? 604,000 seconds. I think it's per month. So 100 calls per month, 5 calls per minute. This is the limit on this API. So if somebody subscribes to this API or you assign him this product, he gets a limited call rate, so he can't spam you because he just wants to explore. So back to the portal. What somebody can do now is he creates himself an account. He signs up. Let me do this. Sign up, and now let's say my mail would be, I think he's not checking it. Let's see. So now there's a captcha, DJX, YYS, sign up. I don't know, is he doing a mail check? Already a member, follow the extraction by mail. Yeah, he's doing it. Let me see if I can get into it. Let me open my mail. Just a second. I will put it out of the way. Am I? Yeah, I do. Let us wait. There you go. Confirm this. I'm on another browser right now. Just a second. I'm just confirming this. And now I can do my login. And now I'm signed in. Now I'm in a different browser, but anyway, I'm signed in. So, and now I have a different experience. If I go to APIs, Echo API, now what he will do when I use try it, not yet. Sorry guys, sorry. It's still empty, the subscription key. Okay, cool. Let us go to the portal and let us take a look into the users. Here's the user which came in, and I can manage the user. I can give him subscriptions here, but I think as a user, I can subscribe to products by myself. So I go here, and now it's like, it's like a shop. And now I'm able to say, you know what, I'm interested in starter first of all. Let us do the starter subscription. And I give it a name. I don't know why this is important, but anyway, my starter, a name to my subscription. And I can subscribe to this subscription. And here would be my primary key and my secondary key. And I can manage my profile here, but I shouldn't be able to do it right now. If I go to APIs, Echo API again, go to try it. And now he says my primary, my starter. And if now I have a subscription, I can select 2 keys. And if I send now, he is saying okay, which is because starter does not need a consent. I think unlimited would need a consent. That's what I wanted to show you, but you get the idea, okay? And now with that in place, I can say, you know what? I want to use not this portal, but now I can use Postman and give it an OCP API Management subscription key header and pasting in my primary key, which I should keep secret, of course. Send it with Postman, and I get now finally my 200 okay. Okay, cool. So this is a facade. Okay, this is exactly what I showed you here. Now this is kind of the Echo service we're using at cloudapp.net, and we put our API management in front of it. And by doing this, we can manage the users and control the users. That's good. Okay, that was for clarify the idea of API management, for the basic idea. Okay, now back to the portal and let's go to the APIs. What we need now is some of those APIs here, and I prepared something. Let me show this to you because I prepared it in a kind of a mean way. Okay, I want to trap API management, or to make up a trap, which is realistic, I think. Let us start this so that you can see what's going on. It's just locally currently. It's a basic MVC based API, and I have 2 controllers, open and secure. What this does is, if you have an open controller and you hit try it out and you just execute, you get a 401. It's called open because it wants you to provide a certain header. It's like API management. It's header based. You have to provide a secure token in the header. On the other side, the secure thing is called secure because it's using Azure AD with OpenID Connect. So if I try this out, it's saying 401.2. But now I can circumvent this by authorizing against my Azure AD. It should work. Oh, B2C. It's even B2C. Let me use Azure AD B2C here. And I'm authorized right now. And now when I execute this, I get my response, 200. So this uses Azure AD B2C authentication, and OpenID is behind it. And here's my Barra token. That's basically what it is. So this is my API. Another thing which is interesting about this API is I have a versioning on this API. So now this is an important thing. I have versioned the API in ASP.NET. So this is always a good idea to be able to deal with breaking changes, stuff like that. The The bad thing here is that Azure API Management has a versioning built in too. Okay, that is the trap here, the first one. So let us take a look. If you see, version 1 had 2 methods on 2 controllers, and version 2 now has some changes, obviously breaking changes, otherwise it wouldn't be version 2, but it's just to mimic a real API. So, and to see this in action, the next thing we should do is we should publish this to Azure. So I will use something which is pretty bad, which means publish it directly to Azure. Let me see, it is an app service on Linux, I think. Never do this, okay? Kids, never do this at all. I think it's my API demo test subscription. I already have 2 things. And now I have this one, demo test. And now I will, do I have an, yeah, RG, no, I don't, you see this? It's providing you with the possibility to put this in API management at this point. I don't want to do this right now. That's bad. And I want to use this way. It's not a good idea. This would be far more better. But anyway, it's just for demo purposes here today. Okay. So I have this in place and I should be able to publish this now to Azure. So let us do this. Let me drink some coffee while it's doing. Oh, I have missing XML comments. Bad me. Hey. Dum, dum, dum. Seems like if you watch the recording, just to tell you, currently there's no viewer on my channel. So I basically talk to myself, which is expected by me, which was expected. Because I think it's kind of a niche thing. And maybe it's at prime time, it's not the best idea to send it on prime time. I don't know. But I decided to try out live streaming a lot more. And that's why. So now something interesting happens. We get a 403 forbidden. That's exactly what I wanted to have. I'll show you in a second why this is. So the 403 forbidden comes because when we look at the Azure resource, I deployed it too right now. Let us take a look at the resource groups. And let's go to the RG, not form recognition, API demo test. What you will see here on the API, on the networking area, that I did something which is kind of done very often. This app service is integrated into a VNet, into a virtual network. And this virtual network, we can take a look at it. It's part of the shared resource group. And here it is. It's a virtual network. And this virtual network has 2 subnets. One for the test API, one for the prod API, and one subnet for the API management itself. So what this means is that my API management, which is this one, is integrated into a virtual network. Here it is. It should be integrated. Virtual network, here it is. It is integrated into a virtual network, into this subnet. So this means I did another thing. I hit this API so that it is not callable from outside directly. The only way to get to this API currently from outside for users is through API management. Because I have rules in the virtual network that allow API management to access this, but not external users to access it directly. So that's good. I'm calmer now because I know nobody can spam it directly, whatever. He will hit a 403 and that's it. Fuck off, to be honest. So that's what I said. Use API management or leave me alone. Cool. Now, what I want to do is I will go to API management and now I want to import this API. I need to do it. I need to tell him how this API is reachable, what methods it exposes, and stuff like that. There are several ways to do this. And the obvious way for us is OpenAPI, because that's what we get when we hit F5 here. And we are looking at the Swagger. It is configured to this complete thing. By the way, this file, this URL now, this is my OpenAPI specification. That's it. So the point here is in this dialog, hey, you can import your existing OpenAPI specification, and normally it is considered to have an URL. But I can't use this URL because API management will hit a 403 if I put it against my backend, my real service, because everybody gets a 403. So this confused me a lot in the first place. So let me explain. I wanted to have this experience in the first time. I wanted to have the possibility, because I'm logged in here as an admin, and I wanted to have the option to say, hey, can I please, as an admin, go to the portal here of the API management, and can I please have the ability to update or create an API by hitting here just the URL of the Swagger file, which would be, you know, this thing, and then extended by this path, just the host and this path. Now, if I do this one, and I hope that it would be possible for API management to be configured to hit this point. And turns out it's not so easy. The first thing I stumbled upon, just to give you an idea, was if you go to your app service, and it gets complicated today, okay? It's not for, it's a deep dive, I told you, for automation. And that's all about. So if I go to my test stage, I thought I found the answer in the following setting. I go to networking, I go to access restrictions, and here you can see I said allow API management, which is something you could have. It's like firewall in front of each app service you can use. So you have here deny all 403, but allow API management. And I thought what is behind this, that I can say, where is it? There is another option. Let me show. That is just the option to allow traffic from the VNet. Okay, that's what I said here. So this is important. You have to check this. So the normal traffic coming from the VNet should be allowed. So now there's another thing which is kind of obscure. You have service tags. And you can tell him, you know what, if you see an API management coming, so this means the request is originated in on a machine which is part of API management. The documentation tells you, if you see the service tag documentation, this means the IP address which sends the request is one of the IP addresses known as API management service. And I thought by myself, well, that's cool. If this is true, I can get rid of the virtual network, which is configured here completely, because I can tell the web app, you know what, be closed to anyone except something which is an API management, an IP address from API management. Turns out it's not what is behind of this service tag. To be honest, I had a support ticket at Microsoft, and the guy helped me and said, no, it's just the backplane or something like that. To be honest, to this day, I don't understand this setting, this service tag, and I think it's broken. It's the first thing I think it's broken, because the service tag is kind of obvious to everybody, saying that disallow anything without a VNet. You know, just imagine here is no VNet. It's just a web app sitting there and rejecting everything, every package, except one that comes from an API, from an IP address, which is known to him, because it's an Azure service, which is known to him as the source of API management, one of the servers. That would be logical. This service tag completely unlogical to me. But anyway, just one thing I stumbled upon. Forget it. Use a VNet, use subnets. It makes the thing pretty hard to set up, but it's reality right now, okay? If you have any ideas or experience on this, please don't hesitate to comment on the YouTube video later on in the comment section and let us see what's going on. So now this is the reason why the API is telling, you know, I reject everything. I'm in the VNet and I reject external calls. I still have a URL which is visible externally. Okay, somebody can hit the URL, but I reject everything instead of traffic coming from a certain subnet from the VNet. So if this traffic comes from the API management subnet, it's fine. Everything else, it's not. It's 403. So now with this in place, I thought, well, that's cool. If this is true, then I can take this URL, okay, this one, which is telling me 403, which is okay because my IP address, which is hitting right now, is not coming from this VNet. Cool. Exactly what I wanted. Now what I expected it to be, the second thing I was disappointed was, if I now go to the API management again, what I thought would happen, if I import an API, I thought this should be able to hit this endpoint because it's the API management. That's what I thought. It is sitting in this VNet and making the request, but no. Watch what I detected. What I detected when I hit the network tab and you change something here, let's say you do this, you see this request, 403. What Microsoft did here, which in my opinion is the second stupid thing. The first one was the service tag, which is not working as expected, in my opinion, just my humble opinion. The second failure here is that this UI is not sending what I'm telling him to the backplane of API management. No, he is trying to import it using my browser, which makes no sense, which is stupid, because this way I have no possibility to circumvent my VNet restriction. You know, I don't want him to do it with my browser session. I want him to send this string to his backend, make the request as the thing in the VNet, and then come back with the result. But it's not what happens. So this is disappointing. Again. Okay, what can I do now? The next thing I have to do, I download this file. Let me save this file on my hard drive. Let's say at the desktop. And let's call it Swagger.json. I download it. It's the Swagger.json. Okay, cool. And now I go back to my API management and select this file. For God's sake, they put it in. And I tell it Swagger.json here. And now he gets this and I have to replace it. So I will call this the sample API test stage. And then I give it a name. The name, by the way, is, if you see it outside the portal, is the ID, which is confusing. It's not the name, it is the ID. It has to be unique. Let's leave it this way. Now, the suffix now tells him what should the user of API management use as the deep URL to reach exactly this exposed API. So what I do now is sample/test, because that's exactly what it is. Sample/test, and then comes the path of the API. You will see this in a second. Let's go to full, because full means I can give it a subscription, my sample API. I can say only HTTPS, which is always a good idea. I can give it tags. Let's say he's using controller tags, but let's do sample as a tag and coding freaks as a tag. It's cool. Products are related, are starter and unlimited. I want this API to be available for people who have starter or unlimited subscription. It's a managed gateway. And I can and I should use versioning on this API. And here is my trap, okay? And now let's say this is version 1. version 1, which is an error, because I should, if I will import version 1, I should use version 1 here. It's pretty important. Let me do this. Let me replace the file. Version 1. Version 1. Okay, he did it. I hope so. Oh yeah, he did it. Sample API test. Sample API test. Thank you. I can do it right now. Once again, this was cool. This is cool. So now watch this path. Now this is a complete path prefix for all the methods which will get imported. And that is important. Okay, let's take a look what happens. I create this. This is already the trap. Okay, you have to know this won't work the way you expect it to work. So he takes the Swagger. So this means the Open API specification, and now he imports all the methods with these options. And when he's finished, we see the API here, and it's versioned. It's versioned, by the way, inside of API management. Okay. So what you can see here now is the relative URL which comes behind this prefix. You have to set up in your mind something like this is the prefix. So this is the complete prefix because the version identifier comes /v1. So let us build the URL for one of the methods. So this is the prefix. And then we have to add those prefixes here to this prefix. So the resulting thing would be this one. And that's not what you want it to be. Because you see the problem? You have the V1, this one, comes from API management. And this one, this V1, comes from my API, which has a versioning too, which is a problem. So to circumvent this versioning issue, you have to do the following. You have to go into your, first of all, the best thing is I delete it. Okay, let me delete this API again. Okay, now what I should do is I go to the Swagger file on my desktop. Let me go there this way. Go to the desktop. And what I show you right now, just to be clear, should be done in an automated way. Okay, let me open it with the editor. And what I do here is I replace this by nothing. So, in the Swagger file. Okay, cool. I close this and I re-import my API. The same way I did it before. Select the Swagger, go on full and tell him sample API test stage. Come on. Again, my mic stands it's a known problem. My sample API test stage. Now I can write a little bit more. It is the URL suffix would be sample/test. It is coding freaks. It is sample, and it has starter and unlimited. It uses versioning v1, please, and this is a path. Create. And now if he is importing it. Now you see it's a V1 here and now it's working. The last thing you have to do, for some reason it's not part of the dialog. The next thing I'm pretty, unsure about what's going on. He is saying, where is your real server, sir? So what he wants here from us is, where is the real service, the backend service? And the real service, and here you have to be very cautious, again, very cautious. The real service is here because we imported V1. This is the base URL of all your services. Because now you have imported, let me save this. You are telling him, you know what, you have to hit HTTPS whatever /API/v1, which is the base path. Am I still running? I am. Here, I show you. Let's go to Swagger on localhost. And now if I just execute a v1 method, This is the URL /API/v1/open, which means this is the static part of this version, and /open is the changing part of each method. And because we have configured API management for the for the moving parts, we have to give him the landing URL to get to the correct version of our API. Okay, cool. Now we have this in place. We can go and publish this, I think. Let's go publish. Yes. And now when we go to our API management portal, this is the wrong one. Where was it? Is it here? Yeah. I can go here, look at the APIs, and now I see the new API, version 1. And I see open and secure. And I can try it out with my subscription key. And I can send. And I will get a 401 because my API needs me to add a header, which is the caller. And I think this is my secret value. And if I send again, internal server, which is weird. I don't know why this happens. Internal server error. Let me think about this for a second. He's hitting now. And I don't know if I configured application insights. Let us see if this now works. Where is it? It is, I think, here. Let's take a look at our live metrics and see if we get any hit point here. Okay, let us send the request. Let us wait. And here it is. What is going on? Null reference exception? I am on the test stage. What did I do wrong? Is it because my app settings are not correct? Let me check this. Allowed callers is there. Where can here be a null reference exception? Let's see. Controller v1. Is it because it is the v1 and the v1 was buggy? Try get value. Return caller, return bad request. Okay. Caller. Looks good, to be honest. This is my method. He gets the caller thing, and if it's there, he says, okay, and there's a middleware I programmed in. And the middleware is just checking if the caller is there. API allowed callers. And it should be the same as in development. API allowed callers. Oh, you know what? Let me see if something else is correct here. Is the environment variable the correct one? Configuration. The ASP.NET Core environment. It's set and it's test and we have no test. Okay, that's explained. That explained it. So we have to rename this to test. And then we have to publish it again, and then it should work. If you don't understand what I did right now, just hit me in the comments or whatever if you need explanation on this. I don't know if this is too old or too easy or whatever. That's why I don't talk about this stuff, okay? If you need some explanation on this, we should make another cast on this, if you will. So let us wait here. And now it's done. And now we can go to our API management and send a request and send it again and send one again. Oh, thank you for this. He's finally done. Send it again. Please send it again. 500. And why? Why? Let me see. It's test. That's totally okay. It came up. API demo test. Let us see if everything is set up, because here are some strange things going on. Let's go to our API management again, to the APIs. Let's see if this is set up correctly. Settings, is it there? API demo test, correct. /test, correct. Just put it through. Okay. And then maybe I had to wait a little bit longer, or what is going on? Send 500. Okay, what is my application insights telling me? It's a live session. That's okay if I think. Oh, I lost the last viewer again. Cool. It's a statement too. You know what? I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. It's boring. Okay. Send. What is going on? Null reference exception again. I don't know. Middleware. Exception handling middleware. Okay, cool. But can I have more information on where it happens? Let me go to the failures, to the exceptions. System null reference, core middleware, code security, more. Please dig in. API Management Service, core middleware, code security middleware, stack trace. Where is it? Middleware line 56. 56. Here it is. Allowed is, I think this is null. Why? Configuration get section API allowed callers as a dictionary of string and string. It works. It works completely, but it's not working in the cloud. That's interesting. Let us spend here some time. I have the test settings. Can I do the following? Can I go to my launch settings and tell him, you know what, you are on test. That's what's going to happen. Let us go here and use Postman and do the request. And let us get it's working. Okay, that's fine. It is working on the test stage. Not a problem. But it's not working in the cloud. Okay, cool. If it's not working in the cloud, let us see if the files are included. Demo test, API. Let me see the advanced tools. Go there. I didn't plan to show you that, but anyway, it is what it is, I think. Oh, site rot, exactly. App settings.test.json. Cat app settings.test.json. What? API allowed callers, everything is okay. API management, integration, is it? Oh, we don't know what's going on. It's wrong. Client ID, client secret, everything is cool. What the heck is going on? Let me see. Oh, it's just I have to wait. Okay. Sorry, guys. So now it's telling me okay. And now when what I do now is if I hit this in Postman, it is now this one with my subscription key, and he's telling me invalid caller. Okay, cool. Caller is A, B, C, D. And everything is good. So what you learn now, or what I learned now, is that all the headers are passed through API management to the backend. So it gets the caller, although I just called API management and not this. So now what we reach now? We reached the point where we have hidden our API. It's not accessible for us because we get it for free if we go directly to it. We have configured it into API management with some quirks. Let me show you again what's important here. In API management, you should have seen that application insights is pretty important too. I'll show you this later on. So we have an API. We imported the API using the Swagger file because for some strange reasons we can't access the Swagger file on the URL because he uses the browser session, which is stupid. But anyway, it is what it is. And now we imported this, and we have to keep in mind that we have two versionings running. One of the versionings here is running in API management. Here it's built in. And the second versioning is running on my app. Okay, so what can we do now? Because we have two versions and they are not accessible currently. We can create another version and we call it version 2. And it's a path. And now we can have the full API name, and now we have to give it a new ID. It's not the name, it's ID. Okay, V1. Again, both products, we create a version, a new one, and now we have to configure this version the right way. So what we have to do here is we have to tell him your URL is V2 on my backend. Okay, that's the first thing we have to do. The version identifier is V2. For whatever reason it is not took into the right place. So that is V2. What is going on? V2 discard. Let us see. He was on the wrong one, I think. Yeah, he was. V2. This UI is crap. But anyway, save. So now I have V2 pointing to the correct URL, V1 pointing to my correct URL. So what I have to do now is go here and import it again. So it's running. Let me go here. Let me switch to Swagger V2. Let me store this file and overwrite my local Swagger. And now let's go and say import API. Open API, select the file, local file, update, not append, update. Import, and now he's updating the API. But I made a mistake because the paths, okay, sorry for this. Let me go there and edit the file. Where is it? Where's my notepad? Man, let's go and edit it in the editor, and let's again remove this with nothing, replace all. Okay, cool. Now do it again. It's good that we can import it. Open API, Swagger file, import, update everything. And now I hope, yeah, now the URLs are good. And we have one revision. I explain revisions later. And now that I have this in place, let me check the settings again because, yeah, I know. You see what I mean? In the moment you update the URL, you don't have to forget to update the web service you're pointing to. I don't know why the import of the schema removes the settings. Please don't ask me. This setting is removed. Not all settings, but only the web server which is behind it is removed. I don't know why. Again, a bug, I think. Maybe it has a reason. I don't know it. So let me just ensure to publish my API because I have changes. And now let's see if, where is my browser? Here. Let's see if I hit F5. If I have, yeah, I have version 1 twice. What is it? Contoso. APIs. Let us see. Oh, sample. Oh, I love you. I love you. Let's go to the APIs because I can't stand this. You see this? What he did to me? Here. Sample API test. I don't want you to update this guy. Save. And I think I don't have to publish this. Okay, now he's ordering it by this one. Okay, thank you. And you should know something else, okay? You should know this. This is not beta. This exists for several years right now. And if you make an Azure certification for, let's say, the AZ204, which I made this year. The complete AZ204 question list has a section which is only about API management. So seems like API management is a real thing. What I don't understand is the state Microsoft left it, and obviously is not working on it for a long time right now. At least I didn't mention that they worked on these bugs, because I already saw these bugs like 2 years from now in the past, when I made my first blog entries about this. I don't understand it. But anyway, now I have version 2. And now let's see if this works. And it does. I come through version 2. And let's check the secure controller for one thing. Let us see if version 2 has not only the open controllers, but the secure controller too. Try it out. Go send it. I just did it to get the URL here. And it is, of course, just instead of open, it is secure get. What I now need is an authorization header. No, I can do it a different way. I can do it here with, bearer token, and now we need the bearer token. How can I get a bearer token? It should be sufficient. Should it be? No, I can't do it this way. Let me think about this. How can I get a bearer token for this guy in the easiest way? There are several ways to do it, but I think the easiest one should be to go here, localhost, authorize, come on, close, secure, try it out, execute, and then to copy it out. That's currently the easiest way. I could do, use client ID and whatever. I don't want it. Let us check if he passes the bearer token through. And he does. Here you see, I get my display name from Graph API. If you don't know what's happening, my display name back, which means I am authorized on this API. Cool. And if you think, well, we are an hour into this thing, is this everything which is broken? No, it isn't. There's a lot of stuff more that is broken. So, but we were at the point where we talked about where we're at. So we deployed our API. It's the test stage. We have 2 versions. The good thing here is that we can have, on each version, we can have revisions, which is like versions in versions. Okay, we can say, well, if it is not a breaking change, or let's say we just change the description, we could create first a new revision, add a revision to version 2. Revision description is no breaking change. And now what we could do is we have revision 2. And I can add the description right now. I didn't know that. Anyway. And now when I did this, I can make it the current revision, so that if no other thing is, you see this, it's just the URL sample test v2. And if he wants to get to the old revision without breaking change, he has to pass in this as the URL in order to get to this revision. Okay? So revisions are non-breaking changes inside of versions, and versions are breaking changes of the API. The same as you would do inside of ASP.NET Core with versioning. Here, the same logic as it is behind this thing in Swagger. But you have to keep in mind that you have 2 versions that you have to keep track of. The one in your API here, and the other one in your API management. And they should be in sync somehow. Because of the quirks of API management, you have to do the stupid replay stuff inside of the Swagger file. You have to download it locally. Stuff like that. Makes no sense. You have to just have to know it. If you are fine with doing it, this thing works for you, and it removes a lot of pain in managing those APIs, in holding those APIs, in redirecting them and stuff like that. It is better to do it with API management, or at least a tool like API management, let's say it this way. I always decide to use the stuff inside of Azure and not to use something else because I want to be natively inside of this cloud. As long as Microsoft, does not do it too bad, and I think it's bearable right now. The current thing is, I can live with this if I know it, but I have to automate it. Now the thing comes into place where I stuck on the weekend. Now the important part. Okay, let's talk about to automate all this stuff. And I prepared an automation, and I can share it with you. Like, it is PowerShell. I automate a lot with PowerShell. And what this huge monster does, and I don't want to go into all the details, but what it does is it retrieves the Swagger from a stage here, because it is running in Azure DevOps. And what I was able to do is to allow it to be working from Azure DevOps. Let me show you. This means I showed you that if you go to the stage here and you go to the web app, we already have seen that in networking, access restrictions, if you put here a rule telling it, you know what, I want to allow API management itself. And I told you this is not working as I would expect it, because this is not allowing the API management instances to do it. Okay, but what you could do is you can say, you know what, I want to allow Azure DevOps to go there. Now this turns out means that the DevOps pipeline, for instance, is able to hit it. What it's not meaning that your Azure DevOps build agent can do it, or release agent. Okay, and what I ended up doing here is, or my colleague and me, we are doing the following. Let me show you. We are getting our IP address here with PowerShell, our current IP address. We are creating an IP rule, and we directly using this commandlet, PowerShell AZ commandlet, we are just adding an entry here in this list to temporarily allow a single IP, which is the one we are coming from, to access the web app from outside the VNet. Then we do the download, because now we are allowed to, and then we remove, where was it? And then we remove this thing. And you see here, we are removing API stuff like I did with the file just in PowerShell. We automate all this stuff. Everything messy, but it works. Now, let's talk about the bad stuff. Let's talk about the automation for the product API management itself. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go to the shell, because now we talk about how can I keep track of all this stuff inside of my Azure DevOps or GitHub pipelines, GitHub Actions, whatever. This is the point right now. Okay, you have, if you use AZ, let me show you AZ, Azure CLI, you have a module for API management. So what you could do is AZ API for API management list. And now what you see here is exactly my API management. This is a public IP, and you can manage AZ API help. And you get apply network updates, backup, check name, create, delete, list, restore, whatever. And you can go deeper. Okay, that's cool. You can do the same. You can do the same with PowerShell, which I want to do right now. Get AZ API management is, you know, it is exactly the same, giving me a list. You can do out table, was it? No, format table, I think. Format table. Okay. You can get a table for your API management, which is not so cool, I see. But anyway, this is my API management, okay? And you can manage it with PowerShell, like every other resource tool. Now, cool. So what you can then do is, or what you have to do, first of all, you have to run this thing. So it's telling you, please make me a context. And now we have to do RG, I forgot it. Let's do it, resource group, and it's the shared resource group, and the easiest way to do is here. And now we can copy out the resource group name, which is this one, and then the API management name, which is this one, okay? So now what you get, for whatever reason, to be honest, I think because it's so clumsy, they say store the complete context, the pointer to this API management in a variable called CTX, in my case. And CTX now is a pointer to this API management service I want to target with the following commands. Okay, cool. CTX is there. Now the next thing is, you know what? Please retrieve my my API. So what I do is, my API is that on the API ID here, maybe I should use this, is from my APIs, the thing which is here called a name, okay? Which is now, let's say this one, settings, name, where is the name? Here it is, it's called name. Now, I have it, and now I can do, is it this one? No. And now I can do the PowerShell command here, this one, and get the API. So, okay, cool. This is my API. Now watch this. My API has an ID, and here the name is not the name. Here the name is the display name. Okay, I'm even more confused. Thank you for this. Description is description. Thanks God. And now we have all the things we set up. So this means all this messy stuff, after importing, you have to update, you know, the version 1 stuff and so on. You can do this automated here. Because if there is a get API management API, there's a set too. Okay, you can manage a lot of stuff, but now something interesting happens. Now you get something which is called a version set ID. And I was thinking, I know what versions are. What is a version set? Turns out a version set is a version. That's it. They call it version set. Thank you for this. So we can prove this if we go to is it here? Is it there? Is it here? I don't know. This is my sample API. I don't know. Save. Here is the version set. Okay. So, and now I can say, again, update the API, give it this, and it's not updated, by the way. Save. Do it. Echo API. Here. Okay. When will it happen? It's not happening. AP version set description? No. So, you know, I'm confused about this stuff. It's not consistent, I think. Okay, but anyway, you have this version set. And now, what I wanted to have is some information about this version set. Because if I want to automatically update this stuff, what I want to have is that from now on that I have version 1 and version 2, it should be clear that I always want to update version 2, not version 1, if I'm hitting this API. So where can I get, was the question, where can I please get the list of versions here? So that's the task, okay? I want to have in PowerShell the list v1, v2, which the Azure portal shows me here. Okay, cool. Let us see what's going to happen. The easiest way to get here is you just paste this to Google. Let us go here. Let us just Google this. Let's go to the documentation so that we now can see all the other stuff which is available in this PowerShell module. And by the way, I can spoiler, The same, which I show you here, is true for Azure CLI too, for some reason, I don't know. Okay, what we see, we need the gets because we want to read out something. Okay, cool. And what we have is get AZ API Management version set. Okay, cool. So I thought when I see this, I get a list of versions. Okay, let us copy this out and let us use it. And it's pretty easy because I give it the context CTX, and then what it needs to, or everything else is, there is nothing more I can say. Okay, so that's just the version set. Okay, cool. Now I execute this. Where is my terminal? Here. And what I get is kind of disappointing. What I get is, now the description is there. I get just the set of the version, just, the outer bucket, not the list of versions themselves. So if you look here, I need information about what is supported currently. Where is V1 and V2 here? Nowhere. In no part of this URL, I can get the information that there is a V1 and a V2. It's not there, simply. So I looked upon it in the documentation, and here is a lot of stuff which you can query, but you can, for some reason, don't get a list as far as I know. Please write if you have some other information. Using the CLI or PowerShell AZ, there's no method to get simply this list here, which is shown here. So when I saw this, I said, well, okay. How does the portal do it? And this is the first time I was glad to have the portal, to be honest, because in the most cases it's just pain to use the portal. But this time I was so thankful that the portal was here, because I could do F12. And then I could go here, overview, let's say, clear my console. Where is it? In Firefox, I don't know. Where is clearing? Again, I'm lost. Where is clearing this? Here. So, and now I go to APIs. And now here, it has to be somewhere in those requests, because you already got the list. Okay, cool. Now what I do is I take a look at the management stuff. So you see, he has managementazure.com, which is pretty important. And I tried to take a look here at some requests. So let's start up here. And I go to the responses. And basically what I did is I searched for V1. I searched for V2. Nope. Then here, this is the next candidate. V1 in the response. Why am I not getting the one I need? Here is a post. What is this? Content object ID. V1. Nope. Here. Am I finding this? Is this working? I don't know. V1. No. No. Yes. Where was it? Now that I want to show you, I can find it, which is kind of sad. Where was? Here it is. So you see this. Here's a request. V1 and V2 are part of this. And I took a look at this request, and what I came up was this one. I already extracted it, and this is kind of interesting. It's this URL. So what this is it's a graph API. It's going to my subscription, to S subscription, to the resource group, to the provider for API management, to the service, which has this name, to the APIs with a version. And now I have to add an authorization token. So what I do now is I just show it to you. In PowerShell, do this, which gives you, if you make token.token, you get the bearer token for your current PowerShell AZ session. Now that you have this, let us just make this request work. And we have to do it by take an editor. And now replace here RG, what is it? Sorry for this, but you know, let us close this. It is the resource group. Is this one? It's kind of, you know, unnerving. My subscription ID is a different one. Let me do this out of the screen. Subscription ID. I don't know why, because you can't do anything without it. But I still don't want you to see it this way. Maybe you saw it already. Now, if I have this, by the way, you will see it either way. It was strictly stupid. But anyway, API management, the service is here, APM, this is the name of the service, /APIs, /AP version with the token. Let me perform this request. So I take this, let us do it in Postman. It is, I think, is it a get or is it a post? I think it is a get. Yeah. Let us go to Postman, do a new one. This is the one we need. Let's go to authorization, bearer token. Let's copy out the bearer token from here. No. Yes. Copy this one. That, and now send a request. And now we are happy to retrieve, besides other informations, we get version 1 and version 2. So we get the version information here, which we need in order to get the correct ID here, which is again name, or this resource ID, whatever, to point to the correct version in order to create, that's what this thing does, to create here the correct service and to create a new revision automatically, which again works. This is supported. And now I create a new revision and I import the API here, performing the update, stuff like that. And finally, I import the API, and this is it. Then that's what's happened, and then it's working. So I wanted to share this complete journey with you today, in order to show you how I approached the solution for a problem, which finally was, you know, because I think this complete area currently seems to be abandoned from several teams. First of all, the Powershell and the Azure CLI team community seem not be aware of the fact that their APIs don't support this graph call. This one is not supported. So what I will do now next, I will try to put a pull request out. Maybe if I have time, a pull request. If not, an issue in both of those, you know, suggesting to put this into their in their next feature set. That's the first thing I will do. And the next thing which this shows is that the complete buggy experience or rocky experience, or call it what you want, beginning with the VNet integration, not only API management, but also, you know, it's also the APIs here, those app services, which for me on the networking area seem to be buggy like hell. Because what is the reason that I just can't tell him, you know what, disallow everybody instead of those Azure services? And that's what service tags are for, at least. And I don't get it. And by the way, there are several reasons here why, or things you have to imagine. Let me show you some. For instance, I think I have an health endpoint. If I go to my app, I'm not sure, but I think. If I go to /health here, is it responding on /health? Yeah, it is. It's not only, you know, I am healthy like 200. It's the ASP.NET Core NuGet packages for health checks, and it's responding with overall state healthy. Okay. Problem here, what you should do, and I think I did it here, is if you have something like this in place, you should go to your API management, application insights here. And you should create an availability test, which I did not, but let's try it out. Add a standard test. Is it this one? Let me do a classic. Okay. And now what you want to do is you want him to check. Where is it? Where is my original URL? Guys, where is it? How can I... Let's go here. Let's grab the URL from here. Let's go just maybe version. Anyway, the version is not so important. Let's go to my server, which is settings. And now here, /health is not working. /health for free. Okay, bad thing. But this is a health endpoint. And what you can do, just to explain you that those things are working, it is ping test API, whatever. This is the URL. Every 5 minutes, those 5 locations. Success criteria 200 is enough. You can even say content must match, which is a good idea. Let me do this. There should be this text inside of the JSON. Create. I don't enable alerts. Create. And this will fail for obvious reasons because it gets 403, not 200. Because this API management is running from 5 regions in Azure from some servers and hitting this endpoint and gets 403. Let me see if I have 5 minutes. I have. Okay, it should get in some minutes failures. To circumvent this, you go to, let me go to my application. I just want to show you this so that you can see the trick first of all, and to prove that service tags are doing what they are supposed to do. Okay, in some reasons, in some occasions, not every time. And that's what I don't get. You go to access restrictions, you add a rule, and you say allow app insights. That's my rule name. I can do it. Priority can be 2. Okay, second priority. And then I say service tag. And you know what? I don't mind if there is an availability test from application insights, just let it through. Okay, don't block it, the availability test. Okay, cool. And I do add rule. It's exactly the same I showed you with API management, just another service tag. Okay, the idea is the same. Okay, now let's take a look what will happen here if we refresh. The first one was failed. Okay, he got failed, the ping test, and we should see, if we drill in, we should see coming a 403 forbidden. That's exactly what we expected, because he was coming from, I think, here, from this location, web test, from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam. He tried to ping this test, and he didn't came through, not true. So now we just have to wait here, and I will come back. Let's do this. Oh man, availability, scatter plot, because it's, so here you can see the failed regions first ping test. Meanwhile, I have enabled the service tag, which means you are allowed, this is the idea, you are allowed to hit me. And we just have to wait like 5 minutes to see this happen. Okay, this new rule I expected to allow him to hit my test stage and to make a successful web availability test, which is pretty important. I think we all agree on that this is important. But we don't know the actual IPs, okay? It wouldn't be possible without a service tag to make a ping availability test working on a hidden API. Unless we put the complete application insights into our VNet, which kind of, would freak me out, because it's a service which has nothing to. Now you see successful suddenly. Let us refresh this. And the first one from North Europe got successfully through. Let us wait. Here you can see 50% of North Europe. are successful. We just have to wait 12. Okay, come on. North Europe, for some reasons, did the first ping before any other. Makes no sense. But, the timing has not to be like on point, on second. It makes no sense. Let us see. It should come in a second. But it's already the proof here, North Europe, that the service tech worked. Okay? Because North Europe should not be able to come to our health endpoint if this rule was not in place. And that's good that this works. But now they're coming, you see, like when we refresh again, like now North and South Central US, North Europe, South Central US came through. It's working. What this means is, I'm not stupid. This is the first, not that stupid. Okay. This means I got the idea of service text right. Service text means if there's any application insights availability test, let him through. So my question now to Microsoft is, if this is true, why is API management does not mean your API management can hit it, because the other thing which you did makes no sense. And all this together brings me to the conclusion that this product is pretty important. It is. API management is important to manage APIs in a way I showed you today. And it should be the central place in bigger API environments where you can manage the access. Plus, you have to imagine it is a public portal, which I showed you here. This thing is public, available, and that's a good idea if you customize it in your way. You get a managed web service, fully integrated into Azure AD or whatever you want, Azure AD B2C, and you get the ability to expose your APIs to external users, which is very important today in the digital era, because that's what companies have to do all over again for deliverers, for partners, whatever. Here is my data, and I want to control your access to my data. That's good. You can, here make a pretty good experience for them, like it or not. I'm not talking about the UI. I'm talking about the possibility to have a managed service like API management. But what I don't get, with all the good points, is why is Microsoft making it so hard for people to control this, to automate all this stuff, because you have to automate it. And why is there the feeling that for several months at least, no progress is made on this product? What is going on? I would be interested in your opinion. Please comment if you like. And I hope this was interesting. It was long, I know, but I have to tell you all this stuff about what is it it doing, how you manage it, because you don't understand what I'm stumbled upon other ways. I hope this was interesting, or will be interesting if you look at it. I have to do something about visitors on my live streams, or drop live streams. If you don't like live streaming, please tell me that too. I have some subscribers. And please, guys, just hit me on my comment section and tell me if you think that live streaming is stupid in this area. Maybe you think, no, just, leave me alone because it's like watching TV. And it would be interesting for me to know if live streaming is something valuable for you, or if you like the recordings more. Because you can watch the stream later on too, I know. Okay, guys, today's stream is over. I think about doing my bicep series this week, so you will hear from me. I just have to, the curious thing is, if I'm looking at the time, I'm recording now for, I don't know, how long is it? Like 1.5 hours? Yeah, over 1.5 hours. I'm recording and I get, kind of a feeling that I have to hurry up because I waste your time. But first of all, nobody's watching, so I'm not wasting anybody's time currently. Second of all, it's a live stream. For God's sake, why I'm so nervous about making it in time, because I watch people just opinion now. I watch people in preparation for this on Twitch because I thought about making on Twitch, on Twitter, I don't know. And then I watched people and I saw a guy which has had 200 followers, 200 viewers on Twitch. And I saw him watching a chess tournament. Okay? So basically the picture he watched looked like not a film, but an image, a still image. Okay. And then I thought about what does this mean for my channel? And I think the conclusion is I don't have to have a bad feeling about talking about those stuff, because still I think it's more interesting than watching a guy watching other guys playing chess. Okay. Give me feedback. Guys, it was a pleasure. I hope the recording will be valuable for you too. And I see you next week, I think. Bye.